You know, for 75 years, when you heard the name Lotus, you thought of one thing and one thing only: lightweight, gas-powered sports cars, born and bred on the Formula One circuit. But in a world that's rapidly going electric, this legendary brand faced a stark choice: adapt or disappear. Okay, let's dive into the incredible reinvention of Lotus.
So that really is the big question we're tackling today. It's a story about a company being brave enough to let go of a celebrated past to build a completely different future. It's a massive gamble that could redefine what a performance brand can even be.
Here's how we're going to break this down for you. First, we'll look at the huge decision to change course. Then, we'll check out the new cars that are defining the brand's future. We'll even compare their two main models. And finally, we'll explore how their top-level engineering is being used in a place you would never expect.
Okay, let's start with that legacy. To really get just how huge this shift is, you first have to understand what Lotus used to be all about.
Just picture a classic Lotus in your head, right? Small, super nimble, a car where you could feel every inch of the road, with that engine screaming right behind you. The entire brand was built on a simple philosophy: simplify, then add lightness. I mean, that was its DNA, forged on the racetrack.
So what kicked all this off? Well, the big moment came in 2017 when the automotive giant Geely took over. And what's really wild is just how early they made the call. Internally, the decision to go all in on electric was made way back in 2018. That's years before most of their rivals even had a serious plan. And by 2021, they made it official and public. The age of the gas-powered Lotus was over.
In this quote right here, from their commercial director, it just perfectly captures how big of a leap this was. In 2018, they were basically jumping into the dark. The idea of a premium, all-electric sports car brand? It was a massive, totally unproven risk. Lotus was betting the entire company on a future that, frankly, hadn't arrived yet.
And this comparison just lays out the sheer scale of that bet. We're not just talking about swapping a gas engine for a battery. No way. This was about transforming from a tiny, niche company making maybe 1,600 cars a year to a massive global luxury brand that's aiming to sell over 100,000 electric vehicles. It's a complete reinvention from top to bottom.
Okay, so they've closed the book on the past. What does this new Lotus actually look and feel like? Let's meet the cars that are building this whole new identity.
They started with a proper farewell, the Emeya, the very last gas-powered car that'll ever wear that Lotus badge. And then, bam, the new generation arrived. You've got the Eletre, their first ever electric SUV, the Emeya, a super sleek hyper GT sedan, and then the crown jewel, the Emeya, an all-electric hypercar built to prove that batteries can deliver the most insane performance imaginable.
Now here's something that's absolutely crucial to understand. Lotus didn't take the easy way out. These cars aren't old designs with the engine ripped out and a battery shoved in. Nope, they're built from the ground up on brand new, dedicated electric platforms. That means everything, weight, balance, performance, is optimized for being an EV from the start. It just shows how all in they are.
So for most people looking to buy a new Lotus, the choice is probably going to come down to the Eletre SUV or the Emeya sedan. How do these two lifestyle vehicles, the very heart of their new strategy, actually stack up against each other?
All right, let's look at the specs. You can see right away they share a lot of the same DNA. I mean, the top-tier versions of both, they pack an identical 918 horsepower. But if you look a little closer, the differences pop out. The Emeya sedan is just a hair quicker off the line. It's also a bit more efficient, using less energy. But when it comes to just pure cargo space, the Eletre SUV is the clear winner. No contest.
So really, it all boils down to what you're looking for. The Eletre SUV, that's your practical choice. It's for when you need space, versatility, a more rugged feel. The Emeya sedan, though, that's for the driver who's all about efficiency, that neck-snapping acceleration, and the agile handling you expect from a great performance sedan.
But you know, to really shut down any doubters and prove that the old Lotus engineering magic wasn't lost in the switch to electric, they had to build something absolutely extreme. So let's look at the very pinnacle of their new vision.
Seriously, just take a second to let that number sink in. Over 2,000 horsepower. The Emeya isn't just a car, it's a massive statement. It's Lotus shouting to the world, not only can we do electric, we can build the most powerful production car on the entire planet.
So how in the world do they manage that kind of performance? Well, a huge part of the secret is a concept they call porosity. Instead of just making the car's shape slippery so air flows around it, they actually design the car so air flows through it.
using these massive tunnels to literally control the airflow. Okay, here's the simple breakdown. Step 1, the front of the car basically acts like a giant mouth, just gulping in air. Step 2, that air gets funneled through these huge tunnels, they're called Venturi tunnels, that run all the way through the back of the car. And the result? Step 3, it smooths out all that messy, turbulent air behind the car, which cuts down drag like you wouldn't believe, and just sucks the car to the road.
But, and this is where the story gets really, really cool, this unbelievable aerodynamic technology isn't just locked away in a multi-million-dollar hypercar that most of us will only ever see in pictures. You heard that right. The very same people, using the very same aerodynamic principles behind the Evija's porosity, also designed the official track bike for Great Britain's Olympic cycling team for Paris 2024. They took that know-how of channeling air through something and used it to guide air around the rider's legs, making the whole package, bike and rider, as slippery as humanly possible. It's just a brilliant transfer of technology.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question to think about. Lotus has absolutely proven that electric can be unbelievably powerful and that their engineering is still world-class. But as they and other legendary brands trade that screaming engine for silent torque and a lightweight feel for heavy batteries, are they just redefining the soul of performance for a new era? Or is something essential being lost forever? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.